Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be unpacking some really cool information about a topic that's probably on all of our minds. How to live not just longer, but healthier lives. We're talking about health span. Have you heard of that?
It's a fascinating area of research, and one that's really taken off in the past few years. You see, before 2000, there were only a handful of scientific papers on the topic, but now there are thousands. What's even more interesting is that research is showing that health span isn't just about genetics. It's heavily influenced by the choices we make.
That's so empowering to hear. So let's break this down. What exactly is health span, and how is it different from lifespan?
Well, lifespan is pretty straightforward. It's the total number of years you live. But health span is the portion of that life you live in good health, free from chronic diseases or disabilities. Think of it this way. Two people could both live to be 80. But one might spend their 70s and 80s hiking and traveling, while the other is struggling with health issues. Same lifespan, but very different health span.
Okay, so that makes total sense. But I have to admit, hearing that there's a difference between lifespan and health span makes me a little nervous. How big of a gap are we talking about here?
Research indicates that on average, there's about a 9-year difference between health span and lifespan. It's a pretty significant chunk of time. But the good news is that this gap isn't set in stone.
Okay, that's a relief. So how do we even measure health span? It seems a lot more subjective than lifespan, which has a clear endpoint.
You're absolutely right. There's no single test or marker that says, congratulations, your health span ends here. It's a bit more nuanced than that. We have to consider various factors like chronic disease, mobility, cognitive function, and even social well-being.
So it's not just about physical health,
Yeah,
but also about how we're feeling mentally and socially.
exactly. It's about living a full and vibrant life even as we age. And here's where things get even more interesting. Have you ever heard of the concept of biological age?
I think I've heard of it, but honestly, I'm not sure I really understand it.
Well, it's all about recognizing that you're not just a number. Your chronological age, the number of years you've been alive, doesn't always reflect how old your body actually is. Biological age takes into account various biomarkers, measurements that provide insights into your health.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, think about blood pressure, cholesterol levels, or even the length of your telomeres, those protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes. These biomarkers can give us clues about how well your body is aging.
So someone could be 50 years old chronologically, but have the biological age of someone much younger or older, depending on their lifestyle and health.
You got it. And this is where things get really fascinating. Research is finding that we have more control over our biological age than we previously thought.
Okay, so this is all starting to make sense. But if we really can influence our biological age, what are some of the key things that we can do to nudge that needle in the right direction, towards a longer and healthier health span?
Well, you might be surprised to learn that many of the things we already know are good for us also happen to be great for boosting health span.
So we're talking about the usual suspects like eating healthy, exercising regularly, getting enough sleep,
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
exactly. These lifestyle factors have a huge impact. For example, research shows that people who eat a Mediterranean-style diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats, tend to have longer telomeres, which are associated with slower aging.
So loading up on those colorful fruits and veggies isn't just good for my taste buds, it's good for my cells too. What about exercise? What kind of impact does that have?
Regular physical activity is absolutely essential. It helps to protect against chronic diseases, improves cardiovascular health, strengthens bones and muscles, and even boosts brain function.
Okay, so we've covered diet and exercise. What about sleep? I know a lot of people struggle with getting enough shut-eye.
Sleep is crucial for repair and rejuvenation. When we're sleep deprived, our bodies produce more of the stress hormone cortisol, which can contribute to inflammation and accelerate aging. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night.
So basically, taking care of ourselves physically can actually slow down the aging process, like hitting the pause button on our biological clocks. But what about the things we can't control? Like our genes, do those play a role?
Genes definitely play a role, but they're not the whole story. While you can't change your genes, you can modify many of the risk factors that contribute to chronic diseases and impact your health span. Things like smoking, excess weight, lack of physical activity, and even chronic stress. Those are all things you can actively work to change.
It feels so much more empowering knowing that I'm not just a prisoner to my genes. I can make choices that support my health span. Are there other things besides those lifestyle factors that we should be thinking about?
Absolutely. Social connection is another crucial piece of the puzzle. Studies have shown that people with strong social connections tend to live longer and healthier lives.
So spending time with loved ones, joining a club, volunteering in the community, those activities can actually boost my health span.
You got it. Social connection can reduce stress, boost mood, and even improve immune function. Loneliness and social isolation, on the other hand, have been linked to increased risk of chronic diseases and premature mortality. It's like having a built-in support system that helps you navigate the ups and downs of life.
This is really fascinating stuff. It's amazing how interconnected everything is. Our
Mm,
physical health, our mental well-being, our social lives is all part of the health span equation.
exactly. It's a holistic approach to aging. It's not just about adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. And speaking of adding years, let's talk about some of the groundbreaking advancements happening in the field of aging research that could really change the game when it comes to health span.
Okay, now we're talking. This is where it gets really exciting. What's on the horizon?
Well, one area that's particularly promising is personalized medicine. The idea of tailoring treatments and interventions to your individual genetic makeup and lifestyle. Imagine being able to get a blood test that reveals your specific risk factors for certain diseases, and then receiving personalized recommendations for diet, exercise, or even medication to help you stay healthy.
That sounds like something out of sci-fi movie, but it's actually happening.
It's becoming more and more of a reality. We're also seeing incredible advancements in regenerative medicine, therapies designed to repair or replace damaged tissues and organs. Imagine being able to regrow cartilage in your joints, or even repair damaged heart tissue.
Wow, it's amazing to think about the possibilities. And what about AI? I've heard so much about how AI is changing the landscape of healthcare. How is it impacting the field of aging and health span?
AI is playing a growing role in everything from early disease detection to personalized treatment plans. For example, researchers are developing AI algorithms that can analyze medical images like X-rays and MRIs to identify subtle signs of disease that human doctors might miss.
So AI could actually help us catch diseases earlier when they're easier to treat. That's incredible. What else is in the pipeline?
Well, another area that's generating a lot of buzz is senolytics, drugs that specifically target and eliminate senescent cells. These are cells that have stopped dividing but haven't died off, and they can contribute to inflammation and tissue damage as we age.
So by getting rid of these zombie cells, we could potentially slow down the aging process.
That's the idea. And early research on senolytics is showing some promising results. There are even companies working on developing longevity pills, supplements designed to slow aging and extend lifespan.
A pill that can make you live longer. That's mind-blowing. But I have to ask, are there any ethical concerns around trying to extend lifespan? I mean, what happens to our planet if everyone starts living to 150 or 200?
Those are important questions to consider, and they're being debated by ethicists and policymakers around the world. There are also concerns about access and affordability. Will these advancements be available to everyone, or will they only benefit the wealthy? These are complex issues that we need to grapple with as we continue to push the boundaries of aging research. But one thing's for sure, we're living in a truly remarkable time where the possibilities for extending health span and living healthier, longer lives are expanding rapidly.
This has been an absolutely fascinating deep dive. We've covered so much ground. From the basics of health span and lifespan to the latest cutting-edge research, I'm feeling so inspired and empowered. But before we wrap things up, I want to bring it back to our listeners. You've heard all about health span and the amazing possibilities the future holds. But what about right now? What's one thing you can do today to invest in your own health span?
That's a fantastic question, and it really highlights the takeaway from this deep dive. It's easy to get caught up in the science and the big picture, but at the end of the day, it's the small daily choices that really add up.
I love that. It's not about making some radical overnight transformation. It's about finding sustainable, healthy habits that you can stick with for the long haul.
Exactly. And the best part is that these habits don't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Start small and focus on consistency.
So what would you suggest? Where should our listeners start?
Well, think about the things we've been talking about: diet, exercise, sleep, stress management, social connection. Choose one area where you feel you could make a small improvement. Maybe it's adding an extra serving of vegetables to your dinner tonight, or taking a 15-minute walk after lunch, or maybe it's calling a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, or simply taking 5 minutes to sit quietly and focus on your breath.
Those are all great ideas, and they're so doable. It's not about overhauling your entire life. It's about making small, sustainable changes that add up over time.
And don't underestimate the power of those small changes. They can have a ripple effect on your overall health and well-being. Even something as simple as getting 30 minutes of sunshine each day can boost your vitamin D levels, improve your mood, and even strengthen your bones.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Healthspan, I want to leave you with this. You have more control over your health and longevity than you might realize. It's not just about how long you live, it's about how well you live those years. Make choices that nourish your body, mind, and spirit, and embrace the journey of aging with curiosity and a sense of adventure.
Beautifully said. Aging is a privilege, and it's up to each of us to make the most of it. So go out there, invest in your health span, and live your best life.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.